Okay, so for the project for this week, you are going to be taking a trip. I have called it Sailing Project, and the template I created was called Sail Away. The first document is just the guidelines, kind of the explanation of the project. You're taking a trip, and your mode of transportation is a sailboat. Your trip has to have two parts. One part needs to take you north or south, and the second part needs to take you east or west. I don't care if you go east-west first and then north-south. You can flip them around, doesn't matter. But you have to, throughout the whole trip, go north-south once and east or west once. For the first part, you need to decide a port city. A port city is a city on the coast. Obviously, you can't take off from the middle of a country. You have to take off from the coast. I don't care if you start in the United States or start in any other coast or port city in the world. That's your choice. So that's the city you'll leave from and which port city you're traveling to, you're sailing to. Again, you can start at a port city and go north or south. And then the second leg of the trip, you can start from that port city you ended in and go east-west or flip that around, doesn't matter. You need to identify which ocean currents will help you and which will slow you down. Identify which winds will help you and which will slow you down. How long is this trip going to take, each leg of the trip? You can Google it, but you got to make sure when you Google it, you're looking for the length of time to sail. You will find in there like tickets for plane tickets. You want to make sure that you're looking for sailing. And I don't care if it ends up being the time it takes for like a boat as far as a cruise ship. I wanted to give you an idea of time on the water. So then the second part of the trip, you begin in the port city you sailed to from the first part, so where you ended up from the first leg of the trip, and then pick another city to sail to. They don't think you should drive. Okay, that's good. You can't drive boats in sand. That's what Mia says. So in the second part, you begin a port city, and from the port city you sail from in part one, and choose another city to sail to. Again, whatever you went last time, north or south, you need to go the other direction, east-west. But both directions need to be covered in your trip. Finally, tell me what you do in your cities. What's the climate like? You're going to have to connect the climate to ocean and air currents. What activities are fun to do there? I've created a Google template for you to work on a slideshow, and feel free to change that template. That's just there for you as a resource. So here's the template. I don't know why you would want to change my awesome background for the first slide, but that's up to you. Don't forget to put your name on it. So the first leg of the trip, where are you leaving from? What direction you're heading? So delete everything but the one direction you're heading. What currents are going to help you? Which currents are going to slow you down, if there are any? What wind belts will help and which wind belts will slow you down? Where are you headed? How long is it going to take to get there? And insert an image of the destination city in there. Destination activities. Describe the climate. How is the climate and/or are the activities linked to the ocean or wind currents? So what you do there is the climate linked to the currents that are around. Look at things like the fishing industry, the boating industry, that kind of stuff. And tell me what these things are to do, and then how is climate and wind and ocean currents all linked together. Then basically you're doing the same thing over again for the second leg of the trip. You're leaving from wherever you ended up here, and where are you going? And then same thing, climate activities. Okay, so you just do it twice for two different places. I've given you some resources here. It says Sailing Project Resources. These are materials you've all seen before. These are two images of global wind belts. One of them was from the document from last Friday that came out of your book. I'll give those a second to load, and I'll open up this one. This is your ocean current map. You have this in your notebook, but it's here again in case you don't have your notebook. And then I also am going to put in the notes, the global wind belt notes, or the atmospheric currents notes that you were taking throughout the weeks. So yeah, so the ones that you finished here, I will link my document here so that you have that to use. Okay, please feel free to send me any questions. These are the images I was talking about. You can also look up your own images if you want to look at the global wind belts. But please feel free to email me any questions. Have a good week.